on the road to recovery in Castle Rock, Colorado. Live from Millville, New Jersey, I'm on the road to recovery. We're on the road to recovery in Morgantown, West Virginia at Mountaineer Field. And live in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I'm on the road to recovery. Here I am on the road to recovery from Berlin, Maryland. Hey, from Caseville, Michigan, I'm on the road to recovery. I'm on the road to recovery at Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. On the road to recovery recently in the western part, Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio. I landed in Youngstown, Ohio, and got a chance to sit down with somebody who's become such a good friend in my life, Kia Waller. She's an incredible woman who's running halfway houses for women and inspiring women and men all across her region find their journey, their path to recovery. Kia shared her story with us, and more importantly than that, shared her hope and inspiration, and I could share it with you. Meet Kia Waller.
I wasn't that type of person that started doing drugs in my teen years. I mean, I dabbled with weed and alcohol, but my late 20s is kind of where it all began, and then my early 30s is when it got really bad. Between 2010 and 2013, I went in and out the county jail 7 times, and on my 8th time landing me in prison. I don't even know how I had time to get high because I was always locked up or in rehab, but I did. Met all my yets. There's not one thing that I haven't done. So my yet is to die, and I know that, and I accept that. And that's one of the things that keep me, because I know if I go back out, I'll die. Then the last time I landed in jail, I was there for 7 months in a county, and then I went to SCI Muncie for 7 months and did a program up there that changed my life. At the end of this month, it'll be 3 years that I've been home from prison. Not one mind, mood, or alterating drug since I've been on the streets. I do count my clean time in jail, because I definitely could have got high there. As you know, there's drugs in jail. There was girls that got kicked out of my program for using my drug of choice, literally. It was right there on the same floor as me, on the pod that I was on. So drugs are definitely alive and well in jail. Like I said, just more than anything, you know, for once I had to shut up and listen and try to learn something. For once, I wasn't allowed to run my mouth like I always had did in rehab. I could run a rehab program because I had been there so many times. They didn't allow me to be that big mouth know-it-all there. The counselors were wonderful. It was round the clock treatment there. For that 4 months I was in that program, I didn't even feel like I was in prison. Besides the fact that I could look out my window and see barbed wire. October 27th, 2014. Coming up on 3 years. Well, my family was living in a totally different house. You know, a lot of things had changed when I came home. My kids kind of grew up on me a little bit. You know, what was once my home for 7 years was no more. You know, I had to, I know like with my husband, you know, there was those trust issues, you know, so I had to fight through that. You know, I just know like this time around, I just had my mind made up that, you know, that I was done, that I was sick of the lifestyle that I was living, and I had finally got to a point to where I knew that I deserved better than what I was giving myself. It wasn't like I had got high for 10 years straight and never tried to stop. You know, every time I went to rehab, I had all the best intentions in the world. Every time I'd be in jail and I knew I was getting out, I had all the best intentions in the world. But what I came to realize is that I continued to carry all that guilt and shame. And the simple fact that I continued to carry all that guilt and shame caused me to self-sabotage. So when things would be going good, that is when I would mess them up before something else could mess them up, because I never felt like I was deserving of the good things that would start happening when I would be clean or whenever I'd be on the right track and, you know, be doing good. So I think like that's one of the things that like that program helped me realize was that I could let all that go. And I left all that stuff at Muncie. Crack and heroin brought me to my knees. Those were not my drug of choices in the beginning. Those were the two drugs that just totally brought me to my knees. So when I came home from jail this time around, I decided to not talk it, to just walk it. I decided to let my family, my husband, my children feel the way they were feeling about me, because I did that. For once, I didn't come home making any promises. I just took the suggestions and I did what they told me to do. They told me to go to meetings, I went. They told me to find a sponsor, I found one. They told me to try to work a program to the best of my ability, I did one. I took my butt back to church immediately. All those things that I was trying to do recovery buffet style for years, I finally stopped picking and choosing what I wanted to do and just did what they told me to do. And I finally learned how to shut up and listen, and just be open-minded to everything. And it worked. I definitely give the program of Narcotics Anonymous credit, but I give all God the credit first. Because without God, there's no way that I'd be where I am today. I grew up Pentecostal, so we grew up religious, and it was more about rituals. But as I got older, and then in recovery this time around, I realized that it's about a relationship, a personal relationship with God. I feel like that in your program, it goes hand in hand. And I know for me, after years of trying to get this thing, I realized that's that piece I was missing, that spiritual piece, getting that personal relationship with God, because it all goes hand in hand. I can't do just NA. I have to do relationship with God, church, active in my church, and NA. For me, it all goes hand in hand. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
I always get inspired when I sit down with you, and I'm so glad I got to hear all the intricacies of your story. We all have stories, and it's how we use those stories to teach other people so it doesn't become their stories, but maybe there's someone struggling that share these stories with them, because recovery is possible. It's happening every single day. Recovery is a beautiful thing, this journey of recovery. From Youngstown, Ohio, I'm Michael DeLeon, and we'll see you on the next episode of On the Road to Recovery.